Hey guys, welcome back once again to Niagara Fire Corals. Make sure you stick around. Today we're unboxing a new skimmer. Alright guys, so we're going to open up the box of this Coral Box skimmer. We're going to have a look at what's inside. I'm going to put this together right in front of you guys, show you how easy it is to put this skimmer together, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. I did do a bunch of research on this skimmer, and we'll go over a little later in this video what I'm going to be using this skimmer for in particular. This is not a skimmer to replace my main large skimmer that's a reef octopus. This is going to be used for something else, and we'll talk a little bit later about that. But for right now, let's get into unboxing this and putting it together. First off, we can see that, we'll just throw that over there. It's a very large cup that we get with this skimmer. Get the nice logo from Coral Box right on the front of the cup there. So I'm just going to set the cup aside for now. Continue unboxing here. Pull the main body out. And we get a box full of goodies. And of course, you get all your directions on how to put the skimmer together. They look fairly easy to read. Gives you all the statistics on the skimmer and how to run it. So this is all that's in the main box. I'm going to put that aside, and we're going to start putting this skimmer together. As you can see, it's a fairly decent sized skimmer. First impressions of it, it looks like it's fairly decent build. I did see a lot of good reviews on these skimmers. For what exactly I'm looking for, this skimmer is going to work perfectly, so I've been pretty excited about getting my hands on it, waiting for it to arrive. So we're going to start out with, we have to remove the bottom. To remove this lower plate to get access to the stuff inside. Oh, it's just 5-star screws. We'll remove all of these. That'll give us access to the inside of the skimmer so we can get to the pump. And the bubble plates. All right, 5 screws have been removed. And I'll just put the skimmer body down below. All right, so I'm just going to bring you guys in for a closer look. We can have a look at this piece by piece as we put it together, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we'll put this back together. I had to get that piece of foam out. Aside from that, this is ready to go. So we're going to put our bubble plate back on, which is very simple. You've owned a skimmer before. They're all pretty well the same. How they go together, it's that simple right there. That portion of the build is done. I'm just going to move that up there. We'll have a look at what's in the box here. So we have, this is a waistline that we will be connecting to the bottom of the skimmer cup. Hopefully you guys can see that. To the bottom of the skimmer cup for draining. This will be our tubing that goes from the venturi up to the silencer. This is a double post silencer. This is our venturi itself. That'll go through the side of the skimmer body and onto the front of the pump. This is a portion for the gate valve. And this is a DC pump that's on this, guys. So you can control your speed of the pump with this controller. And not only that, it also comes with, if you've seen in my earlier videos, I showed how you can put a float switch inside of the lid itself of your skimmer body, or sorry, your skimmer cup, so you don't have to worry about overflows of your skimmer cup and, you know, all the waste going back into your tank, or depending on where you have your skimmer, causing you electrical issues. This little float switch here will go into the skimmer cup, and it will shut the skimmer off in the event that the cup is full and you haven't emptied it. So that's a good little feature. So that's it, guys. That's what you get in this little box. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna start putting this all together, and then we'll have a look at what the finished skimmer looks like, and we'll talk about what we're gonna be doing with this skimmer. Okay, so I'm just gonna move some of this stuff aside, and then we'll carry on with the build here. We'll put this skimmer together. I'll show you guys how easy it is. So we're just gonna go ahead, we're gonna put this back together. Just line up the screw holes. We'll put all the 5 screws back into the bottom. Now when you're putting the bottom back on, guys, there is a notch cut out to allow your cord from the pump to come out. You want to make sure that's lined up properly. Just make sure we snug them all up now. All right, there we go. We got the bottom back on. There's nice little rubber feet here, so it should help with vibration. Okay, we got the skimmer back together. So the Venturi, I mean, that's pretty simple. It just goes inside there, goes into the mouth of your pump, and you're done. I'll turn this sideways so we can do it this way. So this is your gate valve. When we use this acrylic rod, once we attach up here, it'll open and close this so you can set your water height. So we're gonna get that installed now. Comes with a nice little plate. Couple of nylon screws that's going to hold this plate on. Now I'm not going to make it really tight right now because there is some adjustment in this plate, so depending on what I want to do or how I want to move it, I'm just going to leave it a little bit loose for now. And then we're going to put our silencer. It's going to mount on the side of this as well. And then your acrylic adjustment rod for the valve goes down through that brace that we just did. Hopefully you guys can see there, it's threading through this. So as I'm going down, that plate is starting to come up. So you can see there, it's opened up. See, it's opening, go the other way, the plate starts closing. So now that I know I've got everything lined up, I'm just gonna snug up these nylon bolts to hold everything kind of where I want it. And there you go. Really, really simple to put this skimmer together. And then, of course, last but not least, Your skimmer cup pushes on nice and solid. We have our air line that goes from the venturi to the silencer. There we have it. The skimmer's put together. It's ready to go. And then of course, if you choose to, this can go on your skimmer cup, and you just open this valve. You can drain your skimmer cup into a pail or whatever you use to dump it out. That's the skimmer, guys. It's all put together. So I thought I'd bring you guys in for a close-up look at the skimmer now that it's been put together. So here you have the chamber or the valve. You can open and close. You can see I'm closing it down there. That's to control your height inside the skimmer. Your venturi, bubble plate, the acrylic rod, and right up to the nice big skimmer cup. This is a giant skimmer cup, guys. Like, for the amount I paid for this skimmer, I'm really surprised at the quality of it. One of the reviews I did see on this skimmer, actually multiple reviews, was people didn't know how they were getting such a good quality skimmer for such an inexpensive price. I will link it in the description below, exactly where I purchased this skimmer, and you guys can take a look if you're interested or you're looking for a decent sized skimmer. For me, the size didn't overly matter. We're going to get into what I'm going to use this for in a couple of minutes here. But, you know, this skimmer can handle a fairly decent sized tank. You guys would be surprised at how well they work. According to the manufacturer, this skimmer can handle up to a 300-gallon tank. We're going to see in the coming weeks how well this performs. Okay, so the last step that we have to do before we move on is I'm going to put this float valve, which works as a shut-off valve, into the skimmer cup. Just to show you guys, if you were to purchase this for yourselves, for most people, this would work as it's intended. Again, I'm not sure if I'll be using it for that. However, I will put it in place so you guys can see this fully put together and how it works. Hopefully you can see there, the nut is notched out, so don't try and take it up over the top here. You just bring your wire through it. Okay? You're gonna put your wire up through from the bottom of the skimmer lid. You'll notice one hole is larger than the rest. You bring it all the way up, which will pull your float through the lid, as you see there. You slide your nut that's already notched out. You slide your nut over the wire, which will allow you to bring it back down and tighten your float to your lid. Okay, that'll go in there, and then of course this goes up to your controller. When your skimmer's working, actively skimming, as your cup fills up, it'll come up, lift that float up, and shut the skimmer down, so you won't have overflowing issues. Right, so let's move into the sump room and we'll talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing with this skimmer. What I'm going to do is an updated video in the next few weeks, and I'm going to take video, and I will also take some screenshots of my apex, and I'll be showing you guys the difference that this skimmer is going to make over the next, say, week to 2 weeks. Might only take days. We'll see what happens. But let's move into the sump room now, and we're going to get this installed, and I'll show you guys what we're going to be doing with this skimmer. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to get the skimmer mounted into this center compartment here, and if you guys have been following me, you'll know that I used to have the ice cap skimmer here. Well, that skimmer, the pump failed on me, and the main reason that I purchased this new skimmer, for me to replace the pump, was only $100 less than me buying this entire new skimmer, which the pump in this skimmer and this skimmer actually has better ratings than the one I was using. So I thought for $100 difference, I may as well buy the brand new entire skimmer. So that's the main reason why I've purchased a skimmer. So I'm going to go ahead and grab it, and we're going to get it put in here, and we'll start the install. So I've already placed a stand. It's actually like a small container that I've used previously in the tank for the skimmer to sit on. Someday I'll probably make an acrylic stand for it like I did for the Reef Octopus. I just haven't yet. So that puts the skimmer at a good height for us. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get the control box mounted for it, and we'll get this skimmer fired up, and let's see how it looks while it's running. Alright, so we got the skimmer all installed. The recommendation for this skimmer is between 7 and 9 inches of water. I have it in about 8 1/4 inches of water on that little stand there. And we're going to go ahead and just put the skimmer cup on. We will do the final hookup with the overflow switch. I'm just going to run that back here. Alright, so we've gone ahead, we've hooked up the float switch right there in the lid. The controller is over here behind the ozonator. You can see the controller there. And we've got the skimmer running. I have it running quite low right now just because it has to break in. We're going to have to drill this hole out bigger. I'll show you guys why in just a minute here. I'm just going to go and drill that hole larger, and then we'll come right back and we'll get that hooked up. Okay guys, now that we got the skimmer installed and running, I'm going to show you a couple of the alterations that I have to make to this so it'll work with the setup that I'm trying to use it for. I've gone ahead already, and as you can see here, I've drilled a larger hole in the lid. Goes right through. This is to accept the hose that's going to come over from the CO2 absorbent media, and we can recirculate the CO2. So real simple. This will go into that hole on the lid, as you see there. It's going to go to the reactor that's holding the CO2 absorbent, and this is going to hook up directly to the Venturi line, and it's going to pull all my air circulation through this skimmer. Will go through the CO2 absorbent media, and it's really going to help with raising the pH level. So I'm going to go ahead, now that you've seen the skimmer the way it was supposed to be built, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to remove the silencer because it's no longer going to be needed. I'm going to get this hooked up, and then we'll proceed on to setting up the ozone generator, and I'll show you the alteration I have to make to this skimmer for that to work as well. Alright guys, so I removed the Venturi from the pump. We've got the CO2 reactor all hooked up, and I just want to show you what I've done to the Venturi to allow me to inject ozone into this skimmer as well. So here is the Venturi itself, and you can see that this nozzle here at the top, that is for your air intake. And then what I've done is I've gone ahead, I've drilled in, this is an ozone safe fitting. I've drilled that in to go into the Venturi as well, and I will hook my ozone directly up to this, so it's a direct injection right into the skimmer. I have found some people in the past, it didn't happen to me personally, but I do know a couple of people that they went with their ozone directly into one of the inlets on the silencer, and this silencer ends up going really gummy and melting because it's not an ozone safe silencer. Now in my case, it doesn't matter because I am running that CO2 absorbent. The silencer becomes obsolete for me anyways because I'm pulling directly from the CO2 media. I am pulling it directly down and into the inlet of the venturi into the skimmer. So the silencer itself becomes obsolete because I could not hook my CO2 media up to the inlet and the outlet as well as the ozone. So that's why I'm doing the modifications to this skimmer that I am doing, letting you guys know exactly how I'm doing it so it makes sense. So I'm just going to let this dry up a little bit. We'll come back when it's dry. We'll get this installed. We'll get everything running properly. And then I'll give you guys what my current readings are for pH, and we'll see how this makes a difference on the tank. Now, when I was running the ice cap skimmer, I was constantly getting up to 8.3, 8.4 pH. Now, that wasn't during the summer. The summer months, my house is closed up much tighter, so it may be a little lower. We'll see what happens. All right, so we have the skimmer is fully hooked up and operational now. I'll take you guys through one more time. You can see there, that is where I drilled that larger hole through the top because this skimmer is going to be releasing air that has already been scrubbed through the CO2 scrubber previously. So that air is not going to be as saturated with CO2 as, say, the outside air around. That is called recirculating your CO2 scrubber. And that's what we've done there. So that was an easy thing to do. And then I'm going to take you guys off of the tripod here and see if I can get a view of it down here. It's going to be hard to see, but I can't get it in. Oh, there we go. So there's the venturi down the bottom. You can see that the air line here, the white one, that is the air line coming from the CO2. And the blue line, of course, is all ozone safe line, is coming from the ozone reactor. And that is what's going to inject ozone into my skimmer. Okay, so there were a couple of simple modifications I made to the skimmer. I can see here it's got a full chamber of nice bubbles. I've got it set quite low right now just because, like I said earlier, it's breaking in. Now that the skimmer is fully installed, I will show you the full sensor and how it operates. It does have quite a loud audible alarm. But this is your float sensor that's inside of the lid. If this cup was to become full, you would this would go up and you would get this audible alarm. And I don't know if you guys can see it right now on the camera, but the skimmer itself shut off as well. Okay, you come down, clean your skimmer cup. This will go back down. Skimmer turns back on. I didn't want to run any of this stuff on my bigger reef octopus. This skimmer is an absolute beast, and I didn't want to change the way that skimmer is running. So that's the reason I'm running a second skimmer. And this should substantially help with the pH because, like I said, when I took the ice cap one offline, when I started having issues with the pump, I saw a substantial drop in my pH. So you guys know, I will show you in the upcoming video the difference that this is going to make. But currently, I am only hitting a high of 8.1, maybe 8.12 if I'm lucky during the day. And my low in the mornings is usually about 7.85 to 7.9. So it's getting quite low. I don't like it getting underneath of 8. This is going to bring me back up to where I need to be. I will show you guys in an upcoming video the difference that it makes. I will link this skimmer in the description below. If you guys haven't already subscribed, please do hit that notification bell. It tells me that you guys are enjoying the content. It helps me continue going along with bringing more content like this to you guys. Till the next time, guys, make sure you take care and happy reefing.